I bet you are. Welcome to Still Talking Uncut. I'm your host, Big Easy, joined by Sean Rigsby. Special guest tonight, Miss Danielle Parton, Shine Girl herself. Welcome to the show. It is an honor and a pleasure. Thank you for being here.
Well, thank you for having me. How are y'all
Well,
doing?
pretty good about yourself.
Good. So, what are we talking about tonight?
Well, we always start out with what you drinking on. Are you drinking on anything special?
I'm drinking on a seltzer water. I'm living hard
Nice.
tonight.
Nice.
After a
Morning.
long day.
Yeah, morning comes
Mhm.
early. So I
It
understand.
does. It does. I'm at that age now where I can have a hangover from not sleeping enough. So
Hmm.
I have to I have to think carefully about what I do.
Too much water, I
Yeah,
sneeze too hard. It can be
exactly.
anything. So
It
I
could. It could
understand that. I
absolutely anything.
understand that.
But what about you, Easy?
So, me and Sean went to Hooch's jar release Saturday. We was in Charleston, West Virginia Saturday. Our buddy had a jar come out, his first legal jar. And so we picked up some. It was a great time. I met Sean
Nice.
there. Buddy got him a legal label. So, hey, in my mind, it's peach brandy, whether it's got sugar in it or not. It's a real nice peach. I
Oh
enjoyed it.
yeah. Yep. That's what I'm drinking too. Just gotta
We'll, ha-
support him.
we'll have him on soon. So that'll be his show. But as for now, we had a great time. It was awesome. So, but
So
here we are.
so yeah, Daniel, tell us a little bit about I guess your history with it. How your first experience with moonshine and how you got into it.
Oh, I think my first experience with moonshine is I had some family members that used to give it to us when we were kids and tell us it's medicine to shut us up, try to
Nice.
knock us out. And I didn't. I'd like to tell you that we had this huge family operation and all this other stuff. That'd be a great big lie. That none of that's true. In 2014, I finally had gotten enough hours to get hired by a major carrier. I'm not allowed to publicly say who I work for because I haven't asked permission. It's not hard to figure it out though if you look at my pictures online. Um, but I got hired as a pilot and I was on my way to the Sims over in Charlotte. And I drove past a billboard right around the Sevierville exit for Old Smoky. And I thought, man, that's such a good idea. I'm so glad Joe did that. Joe Baker, who I went to high school with, was one of the main founders of Old Smoky. And I was like, that's such a good idea. Somebody should make my family's recipe. I think that'd be a great idea. That would sell, very marketable. Unbeknownst to myself at the time, we don't have a family recipe. I've heard a lot of people claim since I've been on Moonshiners and Master Distillers that they know my family's recipe. They are totally full of shit. They do not. If I don't know it, y'all don't know it. You're just making stuff up. And so I started working that day, actually, when I had that idea in 2014, October of 2014, so 9 years ago, working on the trademark process. And I originally started out, I trademarked Parton's Moonshine, which I still own that trademark. And I really didn't like it because it relied too heavily on the Parton thing, the name Parton. And obviously, I didn't make that famous. Another little Parton girl did. So I felt really uneasy about it. And then I got challenged by Patron Tequila for the use of the trademark
Huh.
because it's in the same class of revenue, class 33 of trademark law. And we argued back and forth over it. I wouldn't give it up just out of stubbornness, but to the tune of about $150,000 out of my pocket, we finally agreed that I wouldn't make tequila, which I never wanted to make in the first place. And literally that week, I was driving around and I thought, I don't even like that damn trademark, anyways. I don't like the name of it. After 2 years of arguing about something. And I was driving, I was like, well, if I'm not doing Parton's Moonshine, what am I going to do? Who am I? What is it? Literally driving down the road, the word Shine Girl popped into my head, and I was like, that's who I am. That's exactly what it is. So I turned around, went home, looked it up. It was available for trademark, and I bought the URL that day and started that process. So that's how the branding and the background came into be. But in the process of the trademark argument, I taught myself basically how to distill. Bought my first still off of Amazon like any normal person does. That's what I always say. And I literally just looked up recipes online. I started with a sugar wash. My first run, I made vinegar. I think it was awful. The second wasn't a whole lot
That's
better.
how
But I
first
started
run
making.
is.
Anybody tells you that they ain't had a bad run, totally full of crap.
Yeah.
It's like a pilot saying they've never had a bad landing. You are so full of shit. That is not true.
I know
But,
master distillers that flood worms, so.
Oh, yeah. Look, if you can do it, I've done it. But
Everybody has. It's part of the game.
after about the third round, I started making alcohol and playing with it and just started going from there. And kind of came up with it. And I guess I came about it a little different. I never wanted to do this as a hobby. I always intended for it to be a legal brand. And so it wasn't just a hobby for me. The whole thing was a job. And how do I make this work?
Mm-hmm.
Well, you're definitely in the heart of the place to do that.
Oh, yeah. I'm a little bit of an oddball, though. I'm a little different.
We all are in our own way.
Mhm.
Well,
It's good,
I don't have that beard like Sean.
Me either. I can't.
I keep
You
my
can't
mustache,
grow one, okay?
I keep my mustache trimmed.
Yeah, I don't have any hair like
I need
most
to.
people. That's how it goes.
So, are you from the Sevierville area, or?
Oh, I'm a native. I grew up in this house I'm sitting in right now. I was born right here. And I don't live here all the time. I've been in Nashville since I was 18 years old after I graduated high school. But yeah, I was born and raised right here. I've had a house up here since, I guess, 18, 19, something like that. So I go back and forth. I live in transit mostly.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm usually on the move.
Nothing wrong with that.
Mm-hmm.
So, how long you been in the military?
18 and a half years.
Thank you for your
Yeah,
service.
thank you.
Yeah, that's another reason I can't do anything too illegal. I'm still a serving lieutenant colonel. They frown on that.
So, when did Shine Girl officially open?
Shine Girl officially opened, I think it was either March 24th or 25th of 2022.
And where exactly are you located?
I'm at 1610 Jenkins Road in Sevierville. If you're coming in from the interstate into Sevierville, get to the main intersection there where you can see the courthouse off to the left. You make a right-hand turn, and it's about 1.5 miles, 2 miles that way. People feel like they're on the far side of the moon coming out there, but you're not far from downtown. It's a terrible location. It's awful. I'm always looking for a better location, but I've somehow managed to make that work. So I will be there until I have better options.
If what you got is great, people will come to the ends of the earth for it,
I always tease that it's like the Field of Dreams. I have built it. I built it, and they have come.
Hey, makes it a little sweeter too, So
Yeah,
well, and talk about your, I guess cocktail. Well, I don't say cocktail choices, but like you kind of cater more so, I guess, to women.
That's kind of a
misconception.
Yeah,
okay.
It's not entirely true.
Oh, Sean.
No, it's
Sean
okay.
I didn't mean it in a bad way.
Jesus, Sean.
I just
on.
happen to be a woman. I don't know if I'm a lady all the time, but
Sean's a lady sometimes. I will give you that.
It happens.
Yeah, it does.
But no, I read. I was doing just some reading up on the industry as I was working on the branding process of Shine Girl, and I was reading along, and I thought it was shocking to me that women are the biggest new customer base to whiskeys in that brand of distilled spirits, and that's the newest customers, the biggest block of them. But of all distilled spirits, all spirits purchased in the United States, women make the decision to buy 70% of the time.
Oh yeah.
And almost nothing is marketed to women. So all I did was put pink on a label. And it's not all pink. And so people think, oh, you gear it towards women. No, I gear it towards not sucking.
And
that's more than fair.
we talk about it all the time. You have a place, you have to market it to a woman's taste. What does the woman like? You sell to women because what women want, men want.
Yeah,
what
I
women
always
want,
put it
men
this
will
way.
buy.
That's the way it is.
If women will drink it, men will buy it.
Mm-hmm. And we'll drink it too, twice as much.
100%.
You know?
And how do I know this? I didn't have to pay for any market research. I've been a woman all my life, so I know if I drink it, someone will buy it. And and I've always, covering all the bases in today's world. If gay men will drink it, I'm done. I don't have to do anything else. Everybody's drinking it, so perfect. But that's how I started doing that, and I don't like to suffer. I don't like to hurt when I eat, drink, or afterwards. Today, tomorrow, or anytime in the future. So I'm not one of those that has to prove how tough I am. I already know. I don't need to drink it at 120. If that's your jam, be my guest. It's not mine. Most people that drink socially or drink to relax or whatever don't like to suffer like that. And so I focused on making something that you could drink. And I think one of the things that we've missed as a industry with moonshine is it's not illegal. The only thing that was ever illegal about it after prohibition is nobody built a distillery and paid the taxes on it.
Yep.
That's what was illegal about it. And so I think it's a lot more versatile of a spirit than what the world has given it credit for. I don't like being called a hillbilly because I'm not stupid. I have plenty of shoes in all my teeth. And I'm educated. So I'm like, you can take, a hillbilly thing and take it worldwide, just like country music. I think there's a lot more to it than just the backwoods persona.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's why when I did mine, coming up with my flavors, and I still stick to this today, I wanted all my flavors to be unique, and they are. And I wanted them to be able to be mixed with cocktails because so few people drink it straight. That's more of a very specialty group of people that focus on that. But if you can put it in a cocktail in many different ways, you get people drinking it over and over and over again. And that's what I focused on doing. And everything I'll do in the future will be based on that too. Because I don't want them to buy it as a novelty and take a shot of it when them or one of their friends gets divorced. I want them to drink it every day.
Yep. You got to keep them coming back,
Yeah.
But moonshine's that stand on its own. It's so flexible, like he's talking about. It could go as a vodka mixer. You can mix it with things. It could stand by itself. You can tweak it just a little bit and give it the same characteristics of, say, a gin or even a tequila, with just
absolutely
some minor changes. So to me, it's definitely, it's more versatile than any other alcohol out there.
It really is.
And that's one of the things I love so much about it is it could be by itself or it could be anything else, anything it wants to be.
I think a lot of people still, especially after the moonshiners and master distillers, everybody's an expert. But I think people have this concept that it has to be a certain thing to be moonshine, and legally that's not true.
Mm-hmm.
It's especially all the flavors, with all those flavors of possibilities that you see on shelves of moonshine. Each one of those has a registered formula. It's a specialty class. If you put something in it after you've distilled it, it's getting a formula.
Yep.
Other than, you can put it in a barrel to age, but other than that, if you put any flavoring, anything else in it, it's getting a formula. So that takes it kind of out of that basic definition of the TTB. Like bourbon has to be 51% corn, aged a certain way, distilled at a certain proof. Tennessee whiskey, same thing. Lincoln County process, blah, blah, blah. Moonshine can be based on anything. You can make it out of honey, sugar, corn, rye. You can make it out of a million different things and see how it goes. So, and you can, some people love that first run, what that I call a strip and run. I hate it. I can smell it. I think it smells like ass. I don't care who does it. I don't want to drink it. And everybody's like, I don't like that, taste like this, that, and other. It's got to taste like this. I'm like, no, it actually don't. You can make it taste however you want it.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I like about it.
Speaking of which, you're talking about strip and runs. How does your still run at your distillery? Do you do stripping runs and then spirit runs?
I have a column still that kind of does all of it together. Okay. I can do the strip and run and take it through what I call the whiskey helmet. I don't know if that's the official name of it. I never looked at the book, but it looks like a helmet to me.
It is whatever you say it is.
Yeah.
That's how it
That's a
rolls.
good thing about owning your own place. You can name your stuff whatever you want. My big still's named after my big dog Sheen Bean, and my little test still's named after this one, Pootsy, my little girl. But so yeah, and then I also have the option to take it through a total of 6 plate for that, and I prefer it that way. That's what all of my products are, at least the 6 distilled. And it just takes that wang and that stank off of it that I don't like.
That's
I also have a vodka.
I use that word. That's
Stank.
awesome. I use that same word when I talk about it. I said, man, get that stank out of there. Or if I'm distilling brandy, I'm like, you keep that stank in there. That's a good stank. So there's good and bad stanks.
Yeah, you want
That's
that
awesome.
stank for different things to it. If you're putting it in a barrel, you might want some of that stank because that's what's going to take on the properties of the wood,
right.
the different things. But so I do like the strip and run, and then I do a refined spirit after that. And then I also have the vodka column. It's a pain in the ass to use it, to be honest, because it takes, you can do a moonshine run in about 4 hours in my still. Vodka column can take up to 48 hours.
Yeah, fuck all that.
A lot to
Yeah,
heat
I
up.
ain't got time for that mess. I'm going to have to hire people, sit there, go through it. Luckily, I got a ton of vodka. I don't have to worry about it for a while, but it can be a real lengthy process to do it because I think there's 16 plates in the vodka column, and it takes a minute.
When you get into that much time, then you're talking money, dollars and cents, and it's like, man, is this really worth it to make vodka? Yeah. So
I'm not. I mean, I sell vodka. We serve it a lot in the bloodies or whatever at the place, but most people, I mean, a lot of people are not just straight vodka devotees. I mean, there's the random, but that's not my money maker. I'll admit that.
So what's your favorite liquor that you guys make or flavor to drink?
Well, it's odd. I always tell everybody they're all my favorites. I don't have children, so these are like my children. I expect them to take care of me when I get older.
Nice.
That they will.
I hope so. But I have 4 flavors. It depends on my mood, and I have more that I'm going to come out with. But it depends on my mood what my favorite is. I like. Sorry, I'm getting a notification. I probably use the coconut out of the 4. The rosé, patterned after rosé wine, lavender, like the herb lavender, coconut, and then red velvet, like red velvet cake.
That's some good shit.
Red velvet is my best seller, hands down. That's what I was mixing tonight. But I probably drink more of the coconut myself. I think it's probably the most versatile of my flavors for using it in different things. My latest jam that I've been on is I put the coconut in just a basic lime margarita mix. And then I put a touch of not the red velvet, but the rosé as a float. It's great with the red velvet on top too. But with the rosé float, so tasty and delicious. It'll sneak up on you. You got to be careful with it.
Sean, next time we're down there, if you don't make sure we go to Shine Girl, me and you're going to have a problem.
Yes.
I'm just telling you.
We'll make it happen.
All right. I'll take your word for it. I like to arrive on time, though. Just letting you know.
That's out of the question.
Sean, are you not an on-time guy?
Huh?
Are you not an on-time guy? Am I missing a joke with it?
Hey, they don't.
They like.
Sean's going to be late. Rigsby for nothing.
Oh shit! That is my number one pet peeve. Somebody being late. If I am on time, I'm late. I'm usually at least 15 minutes early for everything.
Yeah. When Sean gets there, he's on time. Is how we just roll.
Hey, I was early tonight.
You was. I mean,
not for her.
It is in your house.
Minutes.
It was in your house, so that kind of helps. You're in your home.
Well, you got a point.
Back to the show. What kind of yeast do you use at your distillery?
It just depends. I've used Red Star. I've used different stuff. It depends on which product I'm making.
Nice.
Yep.
So it's I don't think you have to just use one thing.
You're
I
right.
love these people that get just so headstrong. It's got to be just this. I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, you do whatever you do.
You do you. So
Circling back to that recipe, that family recipe, it's
Mhm,
got to be that one yeast,
Yeah.
got to be that one.
I always tell people, it's funny, I always tell folks that distilling's a lot like making bread for adults. If you can't get the yeast to work or your bread to rise, you're not gonna get the finished product. Well, it's no different
Yep.
for what we do, and that's probably the fermentation process is my favorite part of the whole process because I just think it's exciting when it starts working, and I love to hear it sizzle when you get a good sizzler.
Or stick your head down in it and it takes your breath
Oh,
away.
yeah.
Oh
Yep.
yeah, it just knocks you out. Like you get a little drunk off the fumes. You're like, oh
Yeah.
man, that's gonna be
It
nice.
smells like dirty ass feet. That's when you know it's just right.
Yeah. You get some people like it stinks. It's sour smelling. Like it's bad. I'm dumping it out. Like what do you mean? It's
fermenting.
It's fermented. Like that stuff is ready. Run it, and then if you still don't like how it tastes, run it again.
And
you still don't like
it, then put something in it.
That's right. Flavor it or run it again.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Man, that's awesome.
So talk about I'm trying to think when it was about all the fires that was down there.
In 2016, the wildfires?
Yeah, about how that affected, some of the businesses and all that.
Well, I forget the total numbers. I mean, it wiped out a ton of folks. I'd never seen anything quite like it. I remember the night that it happened, I heard that there was a fire reported on the news, and I kind of like woke up and I'm like, oh, whatever. I had no idea it was in that kind of fire. It was awful, and it did affected. Like, I remember it shut down like the town of Gatlinburg, like downtown Gatlinburg, for days and days and days before it was safe to drive through Gatlinburg, and it was just so strange. I wasn't here for that, actually, thank goodness. I was in Nashville, but I participated in the telethon that Dolly had to raise the money for the fire victims that she gave them. And then I came up and helped people. I just volunteered, and as they were signing up to get their money, kind of funneling them through. It was just bizarre to see the whole thing. And so many people. I've lost a home in a fire, not that one, but it's devastating. You never get over it, ever.
Oh, I can imagine. It's everything you have.
Yeah, the house that I lost up here, it was like the last gift of 2020, as if 2020 wasn't hard enough for everybody, as it was.
God, just one more on the way out, huh?
Oh, yeah. It was a giant middle finger. And we had a snap, like an unexpected ice storm there came on right on Christmas Eve. So it hadn't had electricity in like 3 days, 3 or 4 days. And I was supposed to leave the next day to go to Savannah to get my medical back to go back to flying. And I was so excited because I was going to get electricity, running water, without me running to get it. And, I was really excited about that. And I was going through the checklist. Well, if I'm going back to flying, I got to get off this mountain. I got to have better internet. I'm going to need pizza delivery, all this.
The basics.
The basics. And literally 2 hours later, I was off that mountain without a house. I was like, they had to cut through trees or with chainsaws to get the trucks to me. I mean, it burned clean to the ground. So, yeah, I didn't appreciate, in hindsight, the tragedy of those wildfires until I had my own. So it's awful. You never ever. I still see stuff every now and then. You don't see as much evidence of it now, but every now and then you see something peeking through that you know what it is, and it still makes me sad.
Yeah, I know we were down there. I mean, it was I don't even. I'm trying to think now. I think it was like back in 2018. Well, anyway, we had rode the ski lift or sky lift up to where the bridge is at. Well, it got stuck, and we had to walk down. So we walked down that road, and you could just see all the property where,
the ski lift got stuck.
Yeah. Yep. It got stuck.
Kiss my ass. That is not happening. No.
Now look, had I been at the top and it got stuck and I had to walk down, I'd have been grateful because I hated riding that thing up the whole time up. I'm white knuckled. The wife's like, "Are you okay?" And I'm like,
No.
we're getting a divorce at the top. I hope they got a lawyer up here. Like, I don't want to be on this thing. And then on the way back down, I'm like, "Would you guys drive us back down? Like, who do I pay to drive me to the bottom?" And
you need to get him on an airplane.
Ride back? Never.
I don't like, even though I fly airplanes for a living, I do not like heights. Airplanes don't scare me because I feel like I got something solid underneath my feet. Chair lifts and ski lifts and that tram that goes up Ski Mountain. Absolutely.
Man.
Scares the living shit out of me.
Same.
I don't like elevators I can see out of.
I don't like elevators, period. Like, if I'm on an elevator and 3 other people get on, I get off. And I wait for the next one. And dang my day.
I hate when you're packed in there. I'm always looking around. I'm going, which one of these assholes is going to fart? Somebody's going to do it for that many people in there. I'm always wondering. That's in my nose. I know where it came from.
I'm thinking, like, who do we eat first? Like, we're stuck in here. Who's the first one going? How long are we going to be in here?
The first one that farted, I'm biting him first.
Yeah, he's done. He's gone. But he might give you gas if you eat him first, so you never know.
Whatever. Yeah, I'm with you. I don't like the heights and things moving under my feet.
But yeah, when we were walking down, it was kind of eerie. You see all those older properties where they had burnt to the ground. And all you see is the concrete, you know, and the for sale signs.
You see it and hear about it all the time out west. Mm-hmm. It's why you had one closer, and it's different.
I have family that live in Washington State, and they're on the desert side of the state. And about 6 months after my house burned, one of my cousins, her place was kind of getting threatened by a wildfire. My mom is so funny. She goes, "Oh, sissy, I'm just so worried about Jennifer. Can you imagine your house being threatened by fire?" And I'm like, yes. I guess so. Bless her.
That's awesome.
Yeah, she forgets my birthday too, so it's all right.
So I gotta ask, the bathrooms at Shine Girl, what was the inspiration for the sinks?
I get the most reported on bathrooms, I guess, of anybody.
I love that shit.
It's so funny. I can't take credit for that. A lot of that was done before I got there. The bathrooms were, it was a failed distillery that I bought into and now have all by myself. But they had done that. They did a lot of great work in there, a lot of craftsman original stuff. So I can't take credit for that. That was the previous owners. But it is cool. Now the signs in there I can take credit for. The stand closer, it's shorter than you think. That was all me.
That's fair.
That's fair.
Easy. You look like you didn't know what I was talking about. So
a lot of us don't know what you're talking about. So please clue us in.
Are we still talking about the stand shorter thing, or I'm?
No. We know what we're talking about there. We're talking about the bathroom design.
Do you want to tell him about that?
Well, it's like it's tons of copper. Everything's exposed. All the piping and the water and the valves. All of it's exposed. It's very cool. Very. What's that style, Sean? What is it?
It looks the way you would understand it easy. It looks like a still with bypass valves. The red for the hot and the blue for the cold.
All right, so the walls are open and all the plumbing's exposed.
No, just around the sink.
It's just plumbed that way.
Oh, okay, just plumbed around the sink.
Around the sink that way.
Okay.
Yeah, I pray that stuff never leaks because that's going to be a pain in the ass.
What? I know a guy that can fix some copper pipe.
He ain't worth a shit.
He ain't worth a shit, but he'll get it done in about 6 to 9 months.
I'm like, what's that tape? Can you put that tape around it?
Put some Gorilla Tape around it. It'll be all right.
Yeah, it'll be fine.
Hit it with some Flex Seal. It works every time.
Yeah, so I wish I could take credit for that. And like everybody, that and then my bar that's got all the pennies and then epoxied. I didn't do that either. Everybody's like, how long did this take you? I was like, not long.
Not long at all.
It take me long at all. I get about one row of those pennies, and I'd be like, I'm on to something else. Somebody else is gonna have to do this. I don't have time for this.
So I'm doing my bar like that. I'm waiting to save up enough pennies. I think I got enough, but I've been waiting because I don't want to do it. So Sean, come over. Let's have a penny party.
Well, like all of them on my bar are from 2017. All the pennies are from the same year, except for like there's a random mix of like there's a couple of tails and there's $1 with was it Van Buren, the President Van Buren that's from Tennessee. He's on it. I think I may have just shown my own ignorance in Tennessee history and didn't get that president right.
Somebody let us know.
It's been a minute since I was in school and had to take that test. But anyways, so there's all that stuff on there. So it's a good thing to do when you have kids that are kind of hyper. I'm like, find this on the bar and gives them a project. I don't even know where it is. I can't sit there that long. I'm like, yeah, okay. It's that way.
I gave up.
Yeah, exactly.
So tell us about your stint with Master Distiller. Like what you, because I remember you were on there as a guest judge at one point, weren't you?
Yeah, it kind of worked out. They were filming in my place. I had gone back to flying. I was in training. I was paying the bill on this distillery, but I wasn't there to work it and get it open. And they needed a bonded warehouse to film in. And so we came to an agreement. But before I agreed, I made them agree to put me on TV.
Smart woman.
Well played.
And it's worked out well for me. But so that's how I got on there. And I told them, I said, I'm not going to compete. I don't need to compete. I've already got a distillery in my own line. So that really would be a waste of competition. Of course, I'd still be waiting long after I'm 50 for my product to come out anyways if I went. Yeah, exactly.
We've done the internet campaign.
I've heard plenty of it. And I'm glad I'm not in that category.
They finally released mine.
Yeah, I know.
Back in July, I think it was. Well, yeah, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were talking. Yep.
So yeah, that you finally got that done. But yeah, so that's how I got on there. And I just told myself, I'm like, if they'll put me on just once, I just know they're gonna have me back. I just know. And turns out that worked out okay. And now I've got some other shows that are I just filmed a piece for another Discovery show. What's it called? RV There Yet? They came to the distillery. We did a full tasting, recorded the whole thing for their show. And then I'm going up this weekend to do a piece for on Fox Nation with one of their shows. So nice. I don't know if I'm allowed to tell it yet, but it's about a feuding family. You can figure it out. Or two feuding families, very famous feuds.
Not in Kentucky, West Virginia area, right?
Yeah, right around.
Not there at all. Not there
close.
at all.
Yeah, close. So yeah, I didn't read my release, so I don't know if I'm allowed to talk about it yet.
We didn't hear
talk
anything.
About what?
So yeah, I already forgot. So yep, that's the way it goes.
But I'm working on I've got a show of my own that is ready to start filming as soon as all these strikes are over. The guy that wants to do my show is a very big guy in the industry, worked with Beavis and Butthead, Napoleon Dynamite. He was the head of Viacom. Loves my concept that we've come up with for my show. But he's been in Hollywood for a very long time, so they're going along with the whole solidarity of the strikes with the writers and the actors, and which I can respect that. I've been in a union for 20-something years myself, so I really need that to get cleared up so I can get on with it, but we'll get there.
Oh, yeah.
It's like everything else in this industry. I don't know why that shouldn't take an extra 10 years.
Yeah, everything, slow and steady wins the race.
Oh my God, is that not the truth? It's like, let's see how long it can take to do anything. And everybody's like, why don't you do this? I'm like, I'm working on it.
I've been trying for 4 years now.
Yeah, I literally just redid the permitting on my building, and for my DSP through the TTB, and for a permit that I already owned, just to change the business structure on it, it took about 6 months.
That's insane.
And I'm like, it's already mine. You've already got my blood type, my bank. I mean, you got everything you need to know. Nothing's moved. The building hasn't moved. The well hasn't moved. It's still right there, same stuff, all the equipment. But yeah, it still took about 6 months.
That's crazy. So are you in?
A lot easier to work with than the federal government.
I could imagine. So are you like in liquor stores or restaurants, or do you just solely sell out of your distillery?
At this moment, I am out of my distillery, and you can order my stuff when they resupply it with caskcartel.com. I just signed with Lipman Brothers, which is the largest distributor in Tennessee. Got my brands registered today to do that. So we'll start that push around the first of the year. And I'm trying to get set up with some national distribution, going a couple of different lines with that, because there's no point in having a show with a product if you can't get it to people.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm working on that.
We'll probably be able to get it in Indiana, Sean, because we ain't getting it in Ohio.
No.
It always goes to Indiana. That's where we go to get the good stuff around here. It's right over to Indiana.
Yeah, because nobody makes any around here.
I just say, like, they don't sell nothing. They don't sell nothing from around outside of the state around here. Like,
I haven't looked at the laws in Indiana as far as, like, in Tennessee, I can personally, my distillery can ship to customers directly if I have the proper permitting and rules in that state.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have time to figure that out for each state. So that's why I went with the online portion. So, but then it's like, people are like, well, it's so expensive to buy it online. I'm like, well, it ain't my fault. I sell it at this price once they do to whatever.
Yeah. Hey,
people don't realize once it leaves my distillery to a distributor, I'm out of it.
Yep. It's no different than, Walmart buying something, marking it up, and you buying it from them because it's there. It's all about accessibility.
I really want to be the first around here that is a direct supplier to Walmart and Amazon. I want to be a supplier to Amazon.
I'd buy some liquor off there. I'd buy some off Amazon. Heck yeah.
Hell yeah. I always look. Do you ever go to Amazon and look at like all the stuff you've bought over a year? Don't ever do it. I'm an industry. I am my own economy.
Keep them in business, huh?
Yes. I'm sure I keep slaves in China busy all the time making all this shit I buy.
I order like 4 or 5 different things, but yeah, I definitely don't go checking the order history unless I got to return something. That's the only time I get in the order history.
Yeah, I learned about the order history when my house burned down and I wanted to buy some of the stuff that I had. And they were like, oh, you can look on Amazon. I'm like, oh, really? And then I was like, oh my God, how much money do I spend?
Man.
Ridiculous.
So we had a question come up in the section. What made you want to become a pilot?
What made me want to become a pilot?
Yep.
Well, that's kind of a long story. I was a flight attendant first. I was a flight attendant for 14 years, and I became I was a Hooter girl and became a flight attendant. And literally on my first training, I wasn't even out of training. It's called the Operational Experience Flight. I figured out that the pilots and the flight attendants had the same lifestyle schedule. Somebody had a much better paying job. And so I had never known a pilot, and I certainly had never known a female pilot. I didn't even know how you become a pilot. I didn't know anything about it. So luckily I was young and cute, and I got away with asking a million questions. And so I started talking to these guys, and then I started finding out how expensive it is to learn how to fly on your own. And they're like, well, if you're going to learn how to fly, you probably should go military. But if you're going to go military, you need to go to the Guard. I've been in the Guard my whole career. And so that's how that all happened. That's how I got possessed to do that. Because I was like, well, I wonder if I can fly. What kind of special skills do you need to fly? Because these guys can barely walk and chew gum. If they can do it, surely to God. And that's literally, a lot of pilots hate it when I tell that, but that is how I got the bright idea to do it. I was not a Top Gun devotee, none of that stuff. And I never wanted to fly fighter planes. I always wanted to fly big, heavy trash haulers. And so that's what I've done. I've hauled trash and people all over the world.
Nothing wrong with that.
Sometimes they're the same thing.
Sometimes, well, it's hard to get your food around the world when you're deployed without a big, heavy airplane. We're pretty important when you need to move people and important stuff. So, and we all have giant egos too. Every pilot has a big old ego. We're all kind of the same. I just don't. I don't talk on my watch like the fighter guys do.
Sounds about like some moonshiners out there. Got them big old egos. Yep.
Yeah. Tons of them.
Oh, Lord, yes. So do you ever plan on, I know you said you're looking for possibly a different space, you know? So if you find one, do you plan on keeping that one open?
No.
No?
No. It just would not, it wouldn't make financial sense to do that. I say that. I always hate giving definitive answers because as soon as I say, I'm not going to do that, somebody will be like, remember when you said this on the show?
No, I don't. I don't remember that. My mom always says, if you don't remember it, it didn't happen. So it's like, I don't remember that.
I know. It's like if you had too much to drink. Somebody goes, you remember doing this the night before? No.
You got to take that up with the drunk Sean.
There's memory. There's blessings and mercies and drunks and hangovers.
Yes,
Just let it go. We're already paying for it.
Sober easy and drunk easy are not the same person. You got to take that up with drunk easy. And that's the way it is. Like, I don't know who he is. Like, I don't remember none of that.
But to answer my plan, I'll say that my plan right now would not be to keep that open. I've had a couple of options to go to a spot in downtown Sevierville, right across from the courthouse. That'd be great. It is just not. I don't think it's a big enough spot.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think it'd be a cool location, but I don't know if that's the right spot. I'm definitely looking at some options in Pigeon Forge. The trick with Pigeon Forge, you cannot be within 400 feet of the parkway.
Oh, didn't know that.
Yeah. So you have to find your options there some way. But if I was anywhere in Pigeon Forge, I'd be doing 15 times the business I'm doing now. Because I'm running, there's like an advertisement, I think the state tourism site, I'm like advertisements in hotels, and I'm on that. I'd forgot they had contacted me and asked me if I'd want to do that, and I sent them some pictures and information and stuff. So I'm running on that, and even out where I'm at, we've been just covered up busy. And I'm like, where are y'all coming from? And that's where they're seeing it, and so I love that. So that's why I want to move. I mean, it's just truly a business spot. I like the setup where we're at. I like the feel of it. People can come in there and hang out, but at the end of the day, I'm not in this for my health.
Right.
Because it don't help my health at all.
Yep.
There's a lot of stress involved with it, but no, it's all dollars and cents. It's business.
It is. If it don't make dollars, it don't make sense. And that's what it's all about. Like, if you're rich and retired and it's just something fun and it's a hobby, that's totally different, but I'm not retired. I'm here to make money. Let's make some money.
Yeah. If I was going to have a hobby, I wouldn't do it in the legal distiller world.
Mm-hmm.
My hobby would be at home somewhere else with less rules.
Yeah.
Do whatever you want.
Yeah.
A lot more openness.
Quality control. Like I was on my way here today. I did a different size batch. We mixed red velvet today, and I was second guessing my math. And so I'm like, I still am not trusting it completely. So I'm going to go in and proof tomorrow and double check that my math worked the way it was exactly supposed to. It's like, because if it comes down to it, I still have to answer to the government.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
It has to be done the right way every time.
Yep. They give you this much, leeway on that, if that. So.
Yeah, the one thing that I'll say that the Air Force has been good for me is that it has taught me how to read government bureaucrat written bullshit. And so I'm very good at I probably don't do everything perfect. I know one of the areas I don't keep up like I should. I don't have my quarterly inventory for the TTB the way I should do it. Mainly because the distillery was such a mess when I got hold of it. So that's one of the things I'm improving on. But I keep my records, like my batch records and my proofs and all that stuff, spot on. I keep them exactly where they're supposed to be, exactly how many years of them, all that good stuff. And that way, if anybody ever comes in, I'm like, yeah, it's right here. Boom. Then if they take the time to tell me my math was wrong, and then I'm like, well, I got Tennessee public school education. What do
you want me to do? You know, like, I've only got so many fingers and toes. Like,
well, they're going to say, look, you got all your teeth. You're not a hillbilly, okay? So let's figure it out.
Get these numbers right.
Yeah, I have a PhD level technical skill. I probably should get the math right. But, you know, I'm human. But the way that that's written, it doesn't say that your math has to be right. It says you have to have the record. You got to read it like a lawyer.
This is why we can't open distilleries, Sean.
I can count to 10. You never guess how.
I'm 20. I get 20. Sometimes 21, depending upon how much I've been drinking.
Yeah.
And what?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
So you done a few episodes of Moonshiners, didn't you, with Henry Law and all them?
I did.
Tell us a little bit about that experience and well, I don't know if it's little or not. I think that's still that you guys built.
Yeah, I think Henry says it's 75 gallons. I'm like, there's no way it can do all that, but he knows better than I do. I didn't know if that was man math or what.
Yeah, 2 inches, 6 inches, same thing.
Give us just you're right. Just give it to us and move on.
Yeah, but that still is actually in my story. He brought it down the night that we did our little watch party there for that episode.
Mm-hmm.
I love those guys, and I love talking to him and Kenny because they just go into they talk about federal prison like it's just normal. Like, of course, yeah. Well, the first time we were there, you know, like going to the beach or something, and I was like, dude, what? And what I found out listening to them is living in prison is not all that different from how we have to live when we deployed, like to Afghanistan. You create your routines. You have to do all this stuff to keep yourself sane. There's no difference in it.
Mm-hmm.
And the creativity that goes into that's pretty interesting. I think that taps into a person's brain in a way that you don't get in our everyday society. So it would be, it was so cool to me. And then I just love how their whole stories, like, they can talk about it all day long, how they ran from the law. They were always talking about their jump man, all the ways that they had different cars to haul stuff in and out, because they had a huge illegal operation up there. I just had drunks in my family. That was their money. That's how his daddy made their living, and Henry did too. He's never done anything else. He's talking about how much money he gets on his Social Security check, and it's almost nothing because he's had almost no reported money in his life. And it's hysterical. He's like, what the hell is this? But I love their stories. I just love Kenny. Kenny's a nut.
So what that was a submarine pot, right?
Yeah. I'm fascinated by those things.
So yeah, did they mash in it, or what's the?
We mashed in a barrel, and then
Did you?
Yeah, and then we kind of strained it out and put it in there, and then you can put it all in. I don't always like to cook the whole cake and the mash. It just depends on what I'm doing or what I'm. But you stir, like there's a certain way with their stick when it's heating up that you stir, like you go across it, and then you have to go across in another way so you don't scorch the bottom when you're doing it until the heat gets right, and then it circulates itself. It fascinates me that they came up with that technology and that, you know, design for a bunch of ignorant hillbillies. You know, that's why I don't like that term. None of it stupid, but it's just such a cool design. It's a simple design, but it works great. And then in Henry's legal distillery right there on his place, it's not open to the public, but he's got this huge tower that comes off of both of his, goes up into the corner of the building, and it just works kind of like my plates. It just keeps kind of circulating back down until it's done. It comes out. I don't know that I'll ever totally understand those things, but I'm fascinated by them. We need to get. We keep trying to talk the show into letting them come down here and film and us run it down here.
That'd be cool.
I'd have to pull it off of the display that Tater built, and he'd bitch and complain. I'm sure
He'd be all right. Yeah,
he can put it back up and bitch and complain about doing that.
Yeah, he owes me one. Just calling a favor.
Yeah. He built a nice display. It looks good. Henry and Kenny didn't like how he set up the rock underneath it. They were whining about that, and I'm like, it'd be all right, boys. It's for display. Right now, it's for pretty. It's not for being used.
Well, if you ever want to get rid of it, I might know a guy.
Absolutely not. You are not taking submarine. He's my baby.
Got to throw it out there. Got to throw it out there.
Sean's
I've got a problem. I collect things.
Yeah.
An avid still collector.
You know, I've never.
Like them all.
I have never actually watched that whole episode. I've never watched any of my whole episodes because I always figure if I say something funny or if it's a good spot, it'll become a clip and it'll circulate on social media. And then who likes to listen to themselves talk anyways? We all sound funny or weird to ourselves or whatever. So I've never watched it all. And after that episode, for months, people would come in and say something about bathtub, getting in the bathtub. And I was like, why the hell are people talking to me about bathtubs? And I guess on that episode, while I was inside the still, like building it, I said, oh, I need this, like a hot tub or a bathtub or whatever. People watch that stuff. And I'm just like, they remember everything about it. It fascinates me. I'm like, I said that? I did? Oh, okay. They know way more about what I said than I do. And I was there.
Oh, yeah.
So, but that worked out great when I mentioned that. I don't know if you put all that together. I mentioned that on Tournament of Champions Master Distillers? That's when I met Henry, and he was talking about the subs, and I was fascinated by him. I was like, oh, I want to learn how to make one of those. So, well-placed idea on my part. That worked out from one show to the next.
Hell yeah. Well, if you ever want to build another one,
let you know.
Let me know.
I'm eating cough drops.
We've been toiling around a good one for a while. We want to bring to fruition, so
yeah.
We got to make it happen.
It was fun to build. Of course, me and Kenny did all the work. I bust on Henry all the time, and that is true.
That's what it would be if we were making one. It would be me and you doing all the work, and somebody's got to tell everybody what to do, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Well, I'm usually the manager. I like, I always call it leadership. I have natural leadership skills. And if all y'all just do it my way, everybody get along.
Makes life easier, don't it?
The work.
Yeah.
Sean finds a way out. Like, hold on, I got to go over here right quick. I'll be right back.
Yeah, after he was late showing up.
Yeah, you're right. You're exactly right.
Here we go. Here we go.
Toast to that right there.
Funny story. When we went to Mexican that night, if I do believe, I was late. Me and Jenny were late.
Yeah, you were.
Imagine that.
Mm-hmm. Who was not late?
I got nothing.
He don't know because he was late.
My inner fat girl gonna be there to eat.
Everybody else except Sean wasn't late, no matter what time they got there. Even if they weren't as late.
Yeah.
So I got to
put a bunch of these guys together. They gossip worse than a bunch of damn women.
Yeah, we do. We do.
Talk about everybody. Everybody's like, "Hey, did you hear about what so and so?" I was like, "Who the hell is that?" No, I didn't hear about that. I don't even know who that is.
Speaking of gossiping, I got to ask.
On me?
Well, no. It was a comment that was in the comment section, which talk about your banana moonshine that you like.
Fuck no. I hate bananas. I hate everything about a banana. I hate the smell of them. I hate the texture of them. And it's not, everybody's got that one thing that they hate.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, everybody's that. I hate bananas. I won't eat banana pudding, banana flavored, anything. So people always come in and they talk about, oh, you need to do a bananas. I'm like, no, If I will not drink it, I will not make it. And so Old Smoky makes a very nice bananas Foster's, from what I understand.
Yes, they do.
You have all of it you want. I'm gonna plug in. I'm dying. Go ahead.
So I got to ask though, when you say bananas, have you ever had a banana brandy, or have you just had banana flavored moonshine?
I won't touch banana nothing, including the fruit.
Well, the reason I ask is because most brandies are like cooked bananas. So I mean, it's not like the artificial. No. Okay, that's fair.
Nothing about it, huh? That's fair. It's cucumbers for me.
Who made that comment? Who set me up for that?
Mr. Buffington, Brandon Buffington.
What a jackass.
Kick him out. Brandon, you're exiled from the show.
He's going to be on my website. He was in some video that we shot for the website. I'll tell him today.
That's awesome. This is great.
Hold on, I'm rearranging my whole plug-in here. I'll be right back.
Oh, you're good. Take your time.
I can hear you keep yelling. I'm just going to scoot the table because I can't find my other thing.
We're moving? Nice. So where'd you get that bottle of hooch liquor at, Sean?
Well, I had to dump it out and pour some good peach brandy in it.
Yeah,
What was in it was kind of like a tire fire, but
you got
Mountain State Distillery, I believe it was.
Charles. Yep. Mountain State Distillery, Charleston, West Virginia.
Yep.
It's right on the river. It's a beautiful place. So,
who else is going to set me up for a nasty question? Brandon, I'm gonna get you tomorrow.
I mean, if you're asking, I'm sure somebody will be in here.
I've been there, Freddie.
Yeah, I wouldn't throw the line out because people jump all over that shit.
Oh, I don't care. What are some funny? I don't know if it's funny. People always, does Dolly come in here? No. Dolly, her Shine Girl delivered.
Nah.
By the Shine Girl. I just take it right to her.
At Shine Girl, is it just alcohol, or do you guys sell mixed drinks also?
We do. We do cocktails. I can serve and make drinks with anything that I make.
Okay.
And I could get a beer license, but I don't want it to turn into a bar per se.
Understandable.
I want it to stay a distillery. And I'd probably drink too much on the job. So.
That'd be me at the distillery. Well, yeah. I'm mixing stuff. I'm creating drinks over here. Hey, what's in it? I don't remember. But
we did really a good one tonight.
It's really good. Try it.
We did a red velvet, like an orange. I don't know how, like an orange creamsicle, but it's an orange drink. It's kind of thicker, and it had the red velvet in it. Freaking fabulous. Nice. And then, have you ever heard of that cake? It's called Better and Sex Cake.
Oh yeah.
Well, it's got coconut in it and chocolate and something other else.
Yep.
Well, we did a hot chocolate tonight with my red velvet and coconut with whipped cream on top. And it was the bomb. I almost think it needs like some candy cane crumbles on it, though.
That sounds like what you're trying tomorrow.
Yeah.
A little candy cane crumbles.
So you're talking about candy canes. Do you already have your Christmas tree up?
I won't put up a Christmas tree myself. I'm one of those people. I don't actually love Christmas. You can be a tough time of year for a lot of people. I have told my staff if I catch anyone playing Christmas music before Thanksgiving, I will fire them. I cannot stand that shit. I think Christmas music before Thanksgiving is like some kind of weird Chinese torture.
Mm-hmm.
I can't stand it. I won't put up a Christmas tree before Thanksgiving in the distillery. I just think we got parameters. We're just going to stay within those. But no, I don't have a Christmas tree up, and I've got some friends and relatives that think that's awful. And I'm like, well, you're welcome. Come put one up, but you're going to tell me when you're coming to take it down too.
So what does that red velvet that you have, what mixes well with that?
Surprisingly, for a cold drink, it goes phenomenal in pink lemonade, which sounds absolutely ridiculous. Who thinks of putting chocolate in pink lemonade? But my cousin made it by accident one day, and I'm like, well, you're drinking that. We are not wasting it. And he takes a drink of it and he goes, oh, fuck me, that's good. And I'm like, we can't put that on a menu. Every now and then we get polite company in here, so we had to come up with a different name, and we named it the Sexy Red because one of our customers that comes in all the time, one of our regulars, she has red hair, and she was sitting there, so we named it a Sexy Red. That goes great. It goes great in any coffees, hot or cold, with cream or without, which I think is a very good way to start your morning off. Was, Monday morning, a little red velvet, and your coffee might kick off a little better.
Not to be confused with black velvet.
True. What else? Hot chocolate. It's amazing in hot chocolate. It actually goes great in that margarita as a float on top. And then that orange drink we made tonight, it's kind of like an orange sickle. A lot of people like orange and chocolate together. It was phenomenal. I don't know if Debbie is on here. She made it up tonight. She could tell you what it is. She was going to watch. She's the one I needed the link for.
Someone said they mixed the coconut and red velvet.
Hell yeah, it's delicious. So is it Debbie that said that? Is she in the comments?
No, not Debbie. That was Brian Goforth.
Oh, I bet that is good.
Huh.
I love if you mix the coconut and the red velvet, it's like having a Mounds candy bar. Just straight up in a glass.
That sounds fucking amazing.
It's fantastic. So I've got some other flavors I'm working with, coming up with some odd ones. I just won't do anything that everybody else has already done. There's no need to do another apple pie. They are great.
Yeah.
Salted caramels. There's good salted caramels everywhere. And I love salted caramel. I make a very nice one, but I just don't see any reason to put something out that everybody else has already got.
Something that's your own, like red velvet. You hear red velvet, nobody does red velvets, so that's yours.
Yeah.
I've seen a couple of try to do after I put out the lavender, try to do some lavender, but I don't think it's as good as mine. I may be a little biased though. Clearly mine is the best.
That's how you should feel about it,
Yeah. So. What else you got, Sean? Lay something on me.
Well, let's see. Bourbon. Do you plan on doing bourbon or anything like that?
I know I'm going to get, cast out of the community. I'm actually not a bourbon fan. I probably will.
You ain't getting cast out of this one.
Yeah,
Neither one of us are.
I can respect a bourbon. I'm just not a bourbon guy.
Yeah, It's not my jam. I love scotch. Probably won't do one since I ain't in Scotland.
Yeah.
But
oh man, I would rather drink bourbon than scotch.
Yeah, well, you're late, so don't worry about it.
It'll be gone by the time I get there, hopefully.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
right. Show up late when the bourbon comes out, huh?
I would do a rye. I love rye.
There we go. Now we're talking.
When I opened, I had an oat whiskey. It was a light whiskey made from straight oat. I have recreated that recipe, but added honey in the fermentation process. That is probably going to be my next release when I do that, which will be pretty soon. I'll have to start making that. But it's fantastic. And I sold out of that so quick. I really must have underpriced that. It went like that.
You can't go wrong with honey and oats.
No, I love honey. I love honey. I love the ferment with honey.
It's the greatest sugar ever created.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's
sure.
It is just such a natural sugar. It's amazing. I love honey. I love how it tastes, how it ferments, and everything about it. You're right. It makes a wonderful meat. It makes you just can't. Honey's amazing. I can't talk great about it.
The best booze I ever made was a honey shine. The worst I ever made, I fermented with brown sugar. It was hot as hell. It was the highest proof I ever got in my little at-home research and development still. I would not feed that stuff to anybody. It was awful. It smelled bad. It didn't smell terrible, but it tasted so bad. I just cut the run off in the middle of it. I was like, I'm done with this.
Interesting. So, do you have a story of where like moonshine almost killed you, or you had a terrible run, and like I don't know how to put it easy.
You got
Just
a
a
good
good,
one.
just a good story.
No, I don't have anything crazy. I haven't burnt down anything. I haven't blown up anything. I have, you know, I've done all the usual stuff. I've flooded things and
Yeah.
Me
done
too,
all that.
multiple
But
times.
yeah, that brown sugar wash was absolutely the worst shit I've ever tasted or made, hands down.
A little bit of brown sugar goes a long way. 'Cause
Yeah, there was way too much in this.
it's got so much, I want to say man in it. Like it's got so much man made in brown sugar that, and I think a little goes a long way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
So
that was just terrible.
I know you talked about honey during fermentation and stuff, but have you ever thought about adding it after the fact? Like not necessarily honey, but the honey flavor?
I have thought about that. I have not tried to add actual honey in any capacity after or infusing it during the distillation process in any way. I have not done that. I have thought about adding it on the back end. I like some of the honey whiskeys. What is it? Jack has the honey Jack. I love that. I've thought about doing something like that, but I just hadn't thought about it that close. It's not on my list of stuff to do immediately. But I will make a honey shine. I think when I don't actually sell a white liquor, an unaged liquor, mainly because I find it pointless. Because most people don't drink it.
Well, there's so many of them around you too.
Yeah, that's more of a novelty bottle.
Yeah.
But I've thought of when I do put one out, it'll probably be a straight honey shine. So
can't go wrong with that.
No, it's fantastic.
But
it's expensive though. That's the only bad part about honey.
It is really expensive, and if you do all honey and you're wanting a decent gravity, you're looking at 3 pounds per gallon for a 10% potential, which is that's hefty. It's hefty. But man, it's worth it. You know, if you haven't done it out there, do it.
Yeah.
Spend the money, you'll be glad you did.
But the thing is too with honey, I feel like you get more of a flavor at the higher proof off the still. I don't know why, but when you proof it down, it's just I don't know.
I did a honey.
Guys, I find this fascinating. Different ones that home distill or whatever, they'll cut off their run at like 90 or 80 or 90, really high proof. Do y'all do that?
It varies, but usually it's around 90 is where I cut my hearts at.
Well,
I've always cut my hearts around that, but then I know a lot of people just shut down the run, and I'm like, whoa.
Oh
no. I collect my tails down to 10. So after I pull hearts, I kick a 5-gallon bucket.
Turn it up.
Turn it up, and I run my tails all the way down to 10. And I keep those tails for something special later on, or get me out of a pinch when I need it, or just to do a giant tails run for flavorless later on, or to bump a ferment that didn't quite ferment all the way. I still want to try to yield
down to. I didn't go quite to 10 when I was doing it at home, but I was like, why? Especially when I mix up flavors, why would I take my hearts and dump flavoring in it? That didn't make any sense because you're at that point you're drinking the flavoring of what you're adding to it, not what you made.
Yep.
So I find that interesting when I hear people talk about, well, I cut it off at this, and I'm like, what?
Yeah, I run the tails and save up until I got enough to do a tails run, and then I run tails through a little bit of water in a thumper to clean it, and then it's pretty darn flavorless, and then that's just all my flavor liquor.
Yep. Well, I know some people they'll save, they'll save the heads and they'll save the tails. Not the 4 shots, but just a touch of the heads. But then they'll do like a full run of like 90% tails and 10% heads. But
some people save the lower tails, which are the low wines or the sweet wines, and they use those to proof their liquor down with.
The sweet water.
Yep, sweet water, sweet wine, low wine. So it's very intriguing on how many different processes and ways that everybody does it.
I've heard of different ones too. What is that fancy word? Sommelier, that can smell and the different things in the wines and all that stuff. Whatever that is in the liquor world, where they get the right amount of heads mixed with their hearts, with their tails before they age it.
Yeah.
To pull different shit out of the barrel.
Yeah. And they're like, oh, well, you can smell this. I'm like, nah, I can't smell it. I'm like, I think it smells like feet on the front end, and it smells like worse feet on the tail end.
Yeah. I think tails just smell like cardboard and wet dog.
Yeah.
That's what I get from tails. Even when it gets down to the sweet wines or sweet water, I still think like, oh no, I don't want no part of that. Dump that in the keg with the other crap.
Yeah. To me, it goes from fucking wet cardboard to water.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. I've got some I got some devil's cut I need to pull out of an old barrel that's been sitting in there for far too long. And I just haven't got around to. I forget that it's sitting there. I need to just pop that cork out of it and dump it out. See how it went. It was my oak barrel whiskey, the one that had my whiskey in it.
Yep.
So that ought to be good. So,
how old is it?
Well, the tails have been sitting in there since I opened.
Okay.
So, a year and a half. Tails, the devil's cut.
Yeah.
It's late. I'm usually in bed long before now.
It's fine. We've been on here a while, so you know.
I've been saying dumb stuff all day long. You ever do that where you just say stuff backwards or don't?
That's me.
Right
That's dumb stuff.
24 hours a day over here.
Yeah, it comes out of my mouth all day long. Like I think I do it while I'm sleeping, and it just leads to when I wake up, and it just follows me all day long. So.
Well, I usually am just talking to my dogs, and they never mind.
Yeah,
so.
I like talking to the dogs. They're good listeners.
Yeah, they are.
That's true.
Yeah, well, we're going ahead. We've had everybody on here for a long time. We appreciate everybody. We're going ahead and let everybody get out of here for the evening. Danielle, it was an honor and a pleasure to hear you speak. I can't wait to come by Shine Girl. If you're in Seaverville, you gotta stop at Shine Girl. I gotta try the red velvet. That's all.
Don't be late.
And don't take Sean. Don't. You know what? If you invite Sean, then you're early. So that's a good thing. And no matter what time you get there, you'll be early. So, and don't put a time on things. Just like, just sometime on Saturday, we'll meet you and you're good. So, and anyways, this was
schedules
awesome.
On the WAG, on the Wild Ass Guess.
You damn right.
He's going to wag it. I'll be there around.
We want her back.
Yeah.
We want her back, so. Anyway, it was
thanks
a
for
pleasure.
having me. I appreciate it.
We appreciate you giving us your time. It was awesome. So
well, y'all be good. I'm gonna get off here and I gotta give one of my dogs some medicine before we go to bed.
All right. Well, sleep well. Everybody have a great night.
See y'all.
We'll see y'all next week.
Hey,
Thank you.
Take it easy. Bye.